Okay, so I'm live. Let's try this again. I like StreamYard better. It gave me a little bit of something, something. Okay, so were you all in the chat a few minutes ago? Hey, Sandy and Chris. Thank you for the compliment. Okay, were you guys in the live a few minutes ago? Because I was in StreamYard and it showed 21 people, but nobody could comment but Paulie. Could you guys comment? Or you just wasn't commenting? Hey Martina. Thank you, ma'am. We got 2 thumbs up, 4 people. What's up with the other 2 of y'all? Hit that thumbs up. I didn't see it. I guess I don't know what was going on with StreamYard. Oh, somebody said hi after. Yeah, it showed 21 people, but Paulie was the only one that was able, I guess, was able to say something in the chat. I don't know. That was my first time trying to use it, so I guess I need to practice a little bit more. So, how is everybody tonight? Me and Paulie's been having a good conversation, the 2 of us. I'm not talking to you, Parker. I know how you are. Thank you. Get down. You want to say hi to everybody? Okay. Did I have a live schedule? I don't know what I did. Hi, Cherokee. Parker, okay, bye. I'm going to let you say hi, but you want to cut up. Go away. Hi, D-Love. I am well. How are you? I don't know why I always be yelling. Like, if I yell louder, you guys are going to hear me better. I don't know. Everybody have a good Saturday? I worked, slept late, got up and worked. You would do the same? Yeah, it's like some instinct, something inside me says, yell, and then they'll really be able to hear you. Anybody do anything exciting today? It was about 85 degrees today. I don't know what happened to our nice, cool weather. Yeah, I bet you can, because he always want to play. Thank you. I actually bought this dress on a whim. I be doing stuff like that, and I bought it from H&M because it looks so pretty in the picture. And that was probably 3 years ago, and I never wore it. So I said what I was going to start doing when I do these lives is wear the clothes that I never wear that I bought. So, hence the orange dress. But thank you, D-Love. You stayed out of the heat, so did I. I stayed in the house all day. Oh, 76 in New York. That's nice weather. You're finally gonna get cool. I know you'll be happy, Martina. Y'all have had a very hot summer. Oh, I forget you guys are ahead of us. Well, happy Sunday to you. Thank you. Thank you guys. Well, hopefully you might get a little rain too. But Charleston got that humidity from the water too. I was actually going to come down your way, Cherokee. I was just going to drive down there and just go sit on the beach. And our summer was not that hot here. I've never been to the beaches in Charleston. I've been to Charleston quite a few times, but never to the beach. I was going to go to oh, what's the one? Can't think of the name of it now. Oh, that would be nice. Let's see. Which beach is the best down there? I mean, the nicest one without a whole lot of people. Folly. Okay. Oh, you want to go hear some? Well, we call them geechies, but that's probably not nice. But the low country, people from the low country. I tell you, that is a sexy accent on a man. I love to hear the men down there talk. It's sort of like a man with an English accent. Australian isn't bad either. Yep, they ain't no good down there in Charleston, but they can talk a good game. Really, D Love, because I have a friend that's in the Bay Area, and he said it was hot enough for him to have to go buy an AC unit this year. No, they don't sound cheap. James Bond. I think Americans like accents because, we don't really have one. I mean, we have them, but foreign accents just sound sexier. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure people just love talking to you guys when you come here. I can only imagine what people would think me taking my southern self to Australia. Yeah, because you all do sound like you're Brits. You sound like you're British. But if you listen long enough, you can tell there's a difference. It's the way you say certain words. But apparently, a lot of you guys as really handsome, cute guys come here to be in movies. I'm sorry, excluding Chris. Chris has to stay there with you. Where is my? Really? Hey, Thor is handsome. That was the only reason why I watched the movie. Hi, Bathsheba. I watched the movie just for Thor. And the guy that plays in Aquaman. Oh my gosh, he is so handsome. Lisa Bonet husband. Ooh wee. Really? Wow. Yeah, it's funny because you see these really handsome men from other countries come and be in the movies, and then you go there and you're like, where are they at? Like Lisa Bonet husband is Hawaiian, part Hawaiian. I'm like, I ain't seen nobody that looked like him in Hawaii. And like the Jamaican guys that was in Stella Got Her Groove Back. I ain't seen none of them when I went to Jamaica. I'm sure people say the same thing when they come to the United States. I thought they were back together. I thought they broke up, but then they got back together. What does your oldest do in Australia, Cherokee? Now, Sandy, would y'all even know him? I mean, Australia's kind of big. Oh, Lisa's Bonet husband. What is? You ever seen the movie Aquaman? He's the star. What is his name? Ooh, if you see him, you'll never forget him. He is. Uh, Jason Mimosa. Oh, okay. Jason Mimosa. Yep. But Lenny Kravitz was cute in his own way too, just in a more rock and roll kind of way. And he says he's celibate now, and that's Lenny Kravitz. Yes, very stunning. Okay, guys, so I had some topics that I thought I would throw out there. Yeah, Lenny is still fine. He sure is. I like some of his music, some of his songs. Eh, they were okay. Okay, so did you guys see the picture that I posted on the community page of the married couple? Their wedding pictures? Okay, well, Martin, now look at the community page. It's a couple in their wedding pictures. The female is dressed like the male, and the male is dressed like the female. Yes, that was a real couple's wedding pics. I was a little taken back. I don't know why, but my thing is, hi Janelle. What was the purpose of that? Because even if she walked in more masculine energy, did she need to wear a suit? And I'm sorry, I know I'm older, but I'm not walking down the aisle or meeting somebody at the other end of the aisle and he's my husband and he got on a dang on wedding dress. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. And think it was lavender at that. I was like, what is this madness? What? And I didn't think it was cute. And it's their wedding. They can do whatever they want. But why? What was I don't know what it was supposed to signify. I don't know. It was a whole it was a whole hot mess. I was just like, but people can do what they want. I just found it interesting, so I figured I'd post it. So that was one of the things I wanted to say. Chris said he might want to wear it for the next anniversary. I mean, we all know that we've met men in our life who are a bit effeminate than other men. But I'm sorry. I feel like this. When we take our clothes off, we don't both need to be standing there with panties on. We're not doing that. Or at least I'm not doing that. And I know, you know what? I feel like I'm starting to sound like my old relatives when I was younger, because I would think they were so old fashioned, but I guess I'm the old fashioned person now. I just like for a man to be a man. I mean, I was raised that men were manly. They didn't wear your panties. They didn't wear your wedding dress. I mean, and not all men are manly. I understand that. But I've always liked a manly man. All right, guys. I'm drinking some German wine, some wrestling, some Auslese. Can y'all see that? Let's see. Auslese from, I want to say it's from the Mosel. Yeah, from the Mosel, which is a good area to get wine from in Germany. Auslese is a little bit more sweet between the Spätlese, Auslese, and the what's the other one? Starts with a C. This is the sweetest of the three. I can't remember the third one. Oh, I'm not talking about stuff like that, Sandy. I don't have an issue with um, the man staying home if I'm making the money, as long as he's doing what I would do if I was at home. I mean, men who want to dress up like me. I don't want to come home and you got on my dress and my high heel shoes. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you stayed home and you cooked the food, cleaned the house, took care of the kids. I don't have no problem with that. But you said fancy wine? Well, I do have an expensive palate for wine. I don't always buy it, but yeah. Thank you. I want to know that you're a man at the end of the day. I don't know. I just feel like all these different gender roles that we are saying that's out here now, I don't know. But I'm going to keep those thoughts to myself because somebody would get offended if I actually spoke how I felt out here on YouTube. But yeah. And it has nothing to do with the fact of what gender you say you are, how you feel, and all that kind of stuff. Something totally different. So people don't get your panties in a bunch because it seems like I always get one comment from somebody that has an issue with something that I said. By now, I would assume that most people that come over here to this channel know I'm very opinionated. I have my own thoughts. I'm very headstrong. I got a big mouth. I'm going to say whatever the hell I want to say. And that's pretty much it. Oh, there would be no sexual attraction. Thank you. I mean, we could be friends. We could be buddies. but there would be no intimacy whatsoever. Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. Thank you. I kind of like that guy that, he takes a shower, uses some soap, washes hair and all that, and you got to say, hey, here's some body wash for you. Or, hey, can you get them socks off the floor? You know, that likes to wear the blue jeans. And I mean, I like them to dress up too, but, just kind of everyday type of guy, low key. Okay. So I had a question for you all. What would you, how do I want to put this? Is there a limit to what you would do for money? And really, Sandy, men should, like I tell my son, I buy him the stuff to keep his face clean, all that. I'm like, you should use conditioner on your hair. He don't listen to me. I think he probably just sits in his apartment. So, what is one thing you would not do for money? Like, and I want you to take, if you were in a situation where you had, let's say you had rent to pay or mortgage, car note, your child needed some shoes, you didn't have enough money to do all three, and somebody was going to offer you $50,000. What would be something that you would not do for that $50,000? Okay, short of selling your soul. They're not going to ask you for your soul. They're not going to want your values either. So, Martner, you won't steal. Okay. Hi, Queen Supreme. Even if you could steal and get away with it, would you steal? Wouldn't sell drugs. But even if you could sell drugs and not get caught, like let's say you were giving away your prescription drugs, but you couldn't get caught because you could just say you're giving a friend one of your pills or something. All right, everybody else, we got stealing, we got selling drugs. I know Jesus sees what you do, Martina. Okay, would you sell your body? If your family needed to eat and you were the one that the money was offered to, and this was an emergency, y'all didn't have no food in the house, and you got children, would you sleep with somebody for $50,000? Well, I understand, Sandy. Thank you, Queen. It doesn't necessarily make you a prostitute because most of the people in this chat has been with somebody who's done something for them after they've slept with them, whether it's your husband or a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And if you're a real mom, you'll do it. I used to say if I had to stand on the corner and say sex for Similac, and that's milk for babies, for those who don't know, I would do it because I had to take care of my son. You don't even think about it. It's like, is my baby gonna eat and have a roof over his head? I mean, because no offense, if I got a child, I ain't a virgin no more. So that, that's out the window. I'm not a virgin. So what's one more time with somebody that, I may not particularly want to sleep with, but hey. So we got, oh, look at these thumbs up. Thank you. We got 26 people and only about 3 or 4 people answered the question. What's up with the rest of y'all? What you doing? What you doing out there? Just sitting watching? We don't know what we will and will not do in life until the situation happens. Correct? That they ready to put in some effort? Not necessarily. Hi, Hearing Eyes. Parker is. Oh, he was in here laying on the rug, but I guess he's left me. I don't know where he might have gone to bed. I mean, I would venture to say 40% of the people in the chat has done something that may not have gone along with their morals and values because of maybe where they were at in life and the situation. Would y'all agree? We got 31 people in the chat and nobody's talking to me. What is wrong with y'all tonight? The question, Hearing Eyes, was, would you sleep with somebody for $50,000 if you need to take care of your family? Well, this is how I look at it, Queen. It depends on what money means to you. For some people, and we know culturally for Americans, money means everything. And that's what made me wonder. I was looking at the stuff about, I'm sure everybody knows about Sean Combs, P. Diddy, and how he was able to manipulate people with his money by dangling their dreams or money in front of them. And if you think about, we can say what we would do now because we're older, but would you have done that when you were 18 or 17? Because when you were 18 years old, $50,000 was a lot of money. So would you have slept with somebody for $50,000 then? Hey, Tashana. Oh, we're not talking about that, Queen. Not to that extent. Just have basic sex with them. Well, Hearing Eyes, you can probably guarantee is not going to be the finest man in the world, but he's a man of means. He has money. He could be, he's going to be older, probably have a pot belly. Let's say, what's the Weinstein guy? I forget his first name. The guy that was in Hollywood, that was over all the studios and making people stars. Would you have slept with him for 50,000? Okay, you was very cheap, Chris. You're very cheap. Hi, Paradise Forever. Okay, he doesn't have to be a stinky old man. It could be a mature. When you were like 18, every one of us, when we were like 18, 19, or 20, there was some older person that probably tried to hit on you, male or female. So think of a person back when you were younger that tried to hit on you, and would you have slept with them for $50,000? What the heck is with my key? You know what, Chris? I'm putting Chris in the doghouse tonight. Okay, Janelle. Well, you know what? I'm sure if we were all honest, unless, and I'm not going to say there's not anybody in the chat who was not a virgin when they got married, because I don't know how many people have been married, but the odds are a lot of us had sex without being married, right? So, and we all might have slept with somebody that we regret sleeping with. So, what if you could have got $50,000 for that person? Okay, for those who, for those who were still a virgin, no, we wouldn't say he would be your first. We're talking about after you've had sex. Okay, so can I then maybe I don't know if y'all want to answer this, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. How many people in the chat are married or have been married? Put a one in the chat if you're married or have been married. The question to Shauna was, would you sleep with a man for $50,000 if you needed to feed your family? Okay, Chris, that's fine and dandy. But if your son is hungry today, how long is it going to take you to weave that basket and sell it? So far, we only have one person, Paulie. That's you. And here, who was the other one? Was it Hearing Eyes? So Hearing Eyes, you've never been married? Oh, you're married now. Okay, that's what I thought. So most people have been married or are married now. So how many of you all were virgins when you got married? Put a two in the chat if you was a virgin when you got married. Wow. I am really impressed with you guys. I wasn't, but I didn't get married till I was 40 something. How old was I? How old was I? So, so Chris gonna take the equity out the house. Oh yeah, so I was 39. Hi, Paradise. Oh my gosh, Queen, you were 16? Ooh, I would have been a horrible wife at 16. Oh, well, I guess I was the only one that wasn't a virgin. Oops. But I wasn't getting married very young. Well, thank goodness for Sandy and Chris. Okay, so technically, Queen, you married the guy that you gave your virginity to, so you know what, Chris? Chris, you in the doghouse tonight. You the only one in the doghouse. Cause you always cutting up. Do you think it makes a difference if you save your virginity till you get married? Do you think it makes a woman less of a woman if she's not a virgin when she gets married? All right, Janice. So you think it does make a difference, Queen, if you if a woman saves her virginity or not? Hi, BP. Hi, Peaches and Cream. So, Martin, you believe that? Okay, so Martin, let me ask you this. And we're having a very honest dialogue tonight, so I hope nobody gets offended from the conversation because we're all adults. So I hope that we can hold this conversation. Because actually, these are conversations, if you have daughters that are young, that you should have with them because the world ain't going to have it. So, Martin, where you're at now, like me and you are in the same age bracket, and we've both been married. We're not married now. So you think that we should stay celibate till we die if we don't get married again? That's what I'm saying, Peaches and Cream. That's what I'm saying. Okay, you know what? Is that Sandy or Chris? Or I'll put both y'all in the doghouse. Okay, Queen. So do you think you should stay celibate until you leave here if you never get married again? And being 72 has nothing to do with it because there are 72-year-olds who are having sex. Hmm. Well, I guess I'm going to have to disagree on that one because I don't necessarily want to get married again. I don't necessarily want to get married again. I've been there, done that, and where I'm at, I don't want I don't want I don't want that. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I right now, today, the way I feel, I don't want a husband. I would like a companion, but I want you to have your own home. I want us to hang out when we feel like it, do stuff together, and then when we want to spend time together, we do that, and then otherwise we go to our own separate homes. I don't know peaches and cream. All right, Queen. Janice, 13 years. Oh, Tashana, I'm not gonna have no cobwebs, not at all. Well, Martina, I'm not gonna do that because I ain't gonna get married. I think at 62, I'm not a virgin no more. I done had all the children I'm gonna have, and I think if I want to have sex, I should be able to have sex. And the only entity that I have to answer to is God. So, you know, why should I? I'm still a viable woman. So I have to sit here because I hadn't gotten a husband. I'm only 62. I might live to be 82, 92, 30 years. I'm going to sit and wait. Polly, you and Chris both going to be in the doghouse tonight. Oh my gosh, Queen. So, well, I'm not gonna ask you that question, Queen, because it'd be personal. I agree with Sandy and Chris on that. Okay, so have you been celibate since you got divorced? 30 years? That's a long time. I mean, I have gone some years being celibate, and it was a choice. I mean, right now I'm celibate. Though McNasty would have me, fornicating all over South Carolina, but it's not true. I just have a joyful spirit. I don't know why people always think I'm having sex. Even when I was in high school, my best friend, her father thought I was the one having sex, and I wasn't. She was, and she got pregnant in our senior year. I was just always like to hang out and party. I wasn't gonna have. I just liked to party. It didn't have nothing to do with having sex. I mean, I've gone about 7 years, and that was by choice. That was my choice. Now, like I say, today I can say I don't want to be married. Tomorrow, I might be some guy that I just want to be with for the rest of my life. I don't know. But I would like a significant other of a certain caliber. And I don't sleep with them now because they below the mark. Yes, they are, Martina, but also I feel like I should not. God didn't want us to be alone either. I'm not saying that God is saying having sex out of wedlock. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, in the garden, he looked and he gave Adam. Adam didn't ask for a woman. He gave Adam a woman because he didn't want him to be by himself. My mother wouldn't put me on the pill. She got that old Southern mentality. She figured if you were on the pill, you were going to have sex. They wanted to put me on the pill because I always had really, really bad cramps. But my dad, he put me on the pill, him and my stepmom, and she was livid. But my dad was like, it's better to be safe than sorry. And peaches and cream, that's you have the ability and the choice to live however you want to. Nobody can tell us what to do. Well, Queen, I may not meet that man that's the caliber of man that I want to marry, but I might meet one that's pretty good in bed. I'm just being, I'm sort of joking. Oh my gosh, Tashana, girl, I have a friend like that that got pregnant the very first time. My mother didn't have that conversation with me either, Sandy. So, I was pretty dumb when it came to stuff like that. I got my lessons or my teachings when I went in the military. I knew absolutely really nothing other than you don't do it. That's all she used to say. Don't go out there having sex. Don't go out there having sex. Thank goodness that he is peaches and cream. Thank goodness. And Martin, there's nothing wrong with that. And please don't think that, you know, we're trying to say that what you believe is wrong. We're not. Everybody just, this is what the beauty of it is. God doesn't force anybody to serve him. And so I don't think man should force anybody to do anything. You know what I'm saying? If the creator's not going to force us to do anything, and if he gives us the ability to choose, then we should too. So, whatever, I feel like this. You should do whatever you figure you can wake up the next day and look at yourself and be okay with. Yes, Queen, you should get out and have you should have time for you to be able to do things for yourself. Go out, and enjoy having you some you time. Thank you, Polly. Queen, I think the older you get, the more you think about that. Because who wants to get old by themselves? Well, I didn't even get that much, Tashana. My mother's favorite saying was, "Don't come home with anything you didn't leave home with." Which, what does that mean? Her whole thing was you were going to get a baby, and that's a beautiful, thing that you want, Queen. There's nothing wrong with that. I would like that, but I don't think I necessarily want him to be my husband. But like I said, I could change my mind any given day. Okay. You sound like me, Martina. Yeah. Okay, so that topic. Let me ask you. I had a couple of topics that I had written down that I wanted to just throw out there to you guys. So my next one is, do you think that people who have money, who have more resources than others, sort of like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, former presidents or whoever, movie stars, actors, musicians, do you think that they should be held at a different standard than everybody else when they commit a crime? And I say that because I've been looking at this stuff with P Diddy, and you know, if if the feds was going to pick me up, I probably wouldn't have known. They would have just picked my butt up off the street somewhere and took me in. Um, he wants to get out because of the conditions of the jail that he's in is so horrible. But there's a lot of people in that jail that are living in the same conditions that he is, and they don't get an opportunity to get out. But I know here in the United States, I'm not sure over in Australia, but people here with money have the ability to get better representation and get things done because they can pay people. When you have money, you can pay people off, Queen. That's what it is. I mean, I just really get tired of these people with money being able to do what they want for years and years and years, and everybody knows what they're doing. And when they finally get caught, they're still trying to pay their way out of it. I mean, this man has been doing what he's been doing for 30, at least 30 years almost. And money should not talk. And it talks in every situation. If I went out and stole a car tonight, if I have the right type of money, I won't go to jail. I'll pay the people off whose car I stole, pay off the lawyer and whoever else, and it'll be a done deal. Your heart breaks for the diddler? Queen, really? So, Queen, what about all the victims? What about the young girls, the women, the men? all the people that work for him. I mean, he was shitty to the cooks, the chef that worked in his house, the maids. I don't feel bad at him whatsoever. When he was raping that little 17-year-old, when he didn't just do stuff to people's bodies, such as, I guess I wasn't supposed to say the word R word on here. I'm sorry. When he was doing that stuff sexually to those people, he stole more than just that. He stole their dreams. He stole their self-respect. He stole them having the ability to be in other relationships and feel safe. I mean, he took a lot from people. It wasn't just one thing. I mean, I do not. And you know what? But if he was mentally unstable and he didn't know right from wrong or something, maybe. But he knew exactly what he was doing. And the more money he made and the more power he got, the worse he got. Okay, great. Thank you, Sandy. Hi, Jack Bonetta. And he wasn't. And like you said, he had an opportunity. This just didn't happen last year. This is years. And he could have gotten better and he could have done the right thing, like just with his artists. He could have gave them back their rights to their music. But he wouldn't even do that. You know, the things he did to the people, that just the artists themselves, the things he did to them. And then my thing is, at this point, I know that he has a drug problem, but you can't even blame it on the drug problem because there's a lot of people that have a drug problem and they don't get the same opportunity. I believe that, Peaches and Cream. Okay, Queen. How many people you think that are running around the United States who um, are a hurt man child, woman child? They got anger issues because of the way they were raised and they on some type of substance. I can tell you a lot because I worked with addiction patients for the last 8 or 9 years. There's a lot of hurt people running around using substances to make themselves feel better. They don't get the same opportunities as him. Just because you were hurt, does that give you the right to go out and hurt others? And Janelle, those people that go down with him knew exactly what they were doing when they went to the parties and partaked in the after hour festivities. Every last one of those, I think right now it's been about 20 people who have stepped down from positions. My sister sent me a list, and it was people that it was a mayor, a couple of doctors, a minister, a councilman, um, a couple of CEOs over companies. It was crazy, the list of people who have stepped down because they're afraid that their tape, or either um, Homeland Security has shown them the tape of them at the party, so they stepped down before anybody found out what they did. They were thinking about greed, Sandy. Just like I said, What parent would let their child spend the night in the bed with Michael Jackson? I know I wouldn't, but there were a lot of parents who did. I think TD Jakes should go down with him because TD was at the parties and he knew what was going on. Um, Tashana, God may forgive him, but if he's done some wrong and he's on that tape, the government may not forgive him. He may be having to do a little time. Well, maybe he should have thought about that before he started calling himself Brother Love. I think everybody that was at those parties who were sleeping with young people, who were drugging people and doing things to them when they didn't have their facilities to be able to say no, should go down with them. And I don't care who it was, whether it was TD Jakes, whether it was the mayor, whether it was a movie star, whether it was an athlete, I don't care. And the thing is, Tashana, his wife knows. She been his beard for years. This ain't his first time at the rodeo. He been doing stuff like that in his church for years. He been sleeping with young men, young boys in his church. Girl, that's what I was like. 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lube. Thank you, Martina. You know what? It's just time. Things happen in seasons. And it's time for Hollywood, the music industry, all of that to get a good washing. There'll always be somebody to come behind them and do the same thing. Right now is their time. My thing is this: at some point, you're going to have to pay the piper. You can do what you're doing, but at some point, you're going to have to pay for what you do. It's simple as that. Just know that there's consequences to everything that we do. If you're doing wrong, do know at some point you're going to get paid for it. So if you're willing to pay the cost to be the boss, then go ahead. Queen, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not surprised about anything that people do out there because you know why? And I was talking to my sister about this. I can't think of anything that I wanted so bad in life that I'm willing to sell me. And when I say me, not just my body, who I am as a person to get it. Even if I wanted to be a singer or an actress or something, I'm not willing to submit to stuff like that just for the opportunity to be able to do that. And that's selling your soul. Somebody said that earlier. I think that was Martin. I'm not going to sell my soul to become an actress or a musician or whatever. I mean, the man is such a liar. He got on, was it Instagram, and said he was so sorry and that he went to rehab, which that was a lie. Because I'm like, what rehab you went to that lasts, 2 or 3 days? That's detox. And that, he was so sorry about what he did. And, that was just a dark period of time. This man was still doing freak offs or whatever it is up until March of this year. when they picked him up to arrest him, he had drugs in the hotel. So I'm like, you're just a liar. Hi, Lovecraft. Well, Chris, there's nothing that I wanted that bad. I would rather work my fingers to the bone to get it before I put myself in a situation like that. Even now, he doesn't understand. His lawyer tried to say he came to New York to wait for the feds to pick up, Homeland Security to pick him up. He came so because he was trying to bribe people not to be a witness against him. So you haven't learned your lesson yet, sir. You need to sit in prison for a while so that you can learn your lesson. That's it. That's all. And let me say this, I'm not knocking the young ones. The ones who were older, who knew better, that's on them. But like Cassie, she was 18, 19 years old. The other girl was 17. A lot of them were young girls. When I think back, and I was talking to one of my girlfriends, I was like, if I had been invited to a Diddy party when I was 18, would I have gone? Probably. I probably would have gone. But I wouldn't have stayed late. Hi, Felicia. Hi, Felicia. Yeah, I blame the ones who were grown adults. I mean, they knew everybody. I'm not even a Diddy fan. I never liked his music, so but even I knew that you didn't stay late to one of his parties. You go during the day, hang out, have fun, you go home. But I was never the groupie type either, you know. Is Hearing Eyes gone? Good night, Hearing Eyes. You have a good weekend too. Yeah, I mean, the people that went to the parties, they knew what happened late. That's why the majority of them left and went home. Um, Cassie was dating somebody else, but Cassie was 18 when she met him. Think about when you were 18. How many mistakes did you make from the age of 18 to 25? How many guys did you meet that were not decent guys between the ages of 18 and 25? This man was 37 years old. He knew how to manipulate her. He knew she wanted a singing career. I don't think she knew all the ins and outs. I think she probably heard rumors, as people would say, of what might have been going on, but she didn't have a bird's eye picture till she was in there. And he started manipulating her from the first time he met her. He decided he wanted her because she was dating somebody else. He decided he wanted her because she said she didn't even want to go out with him because he was old. But he tried to play it that he needed to spend time with her, to get her music career up and going. And till he manipulated enough to be in her life. He had her taking drugs, when she first got with him. She was not friends like that, Felicia. All the women he dated knew of each other. Some of them were friends. Like Kim knew of Misha. That was the first baby mama, I think. She knew of her. They knew of each other. They all knew that Diddy was sleeping with all of them. But I don't think those women were disclosing all the stuff that Diddy was doing to them to each other. Yeah. So every woman he was with another man when he met them. He has this thing about taking other men's women. All of them was with somebody else. Like Kim was with Albie Shore, was married to Albie Shore, and had a baby by Albie Shore. Misha was with some other guy when he met her. Cassie was with somebody else. This last one he had a baby by, she was married. The Asian woman that just had a baby by him, she had a whole husband. Okay. Jaguar does speak truth, but Jaguar does have some issues. Um, and I don't know if that was before the music industry or because it was always there. But yeah, um, she knows, but she doesn't know everything. I think that she talks truth, but I think that she also exaggerates on some of it. That's what I'm going to say. Oh, most definitely Peaches and Cream. They got a video out now of her and him and some young lady. His thing was to put people in positions where he could manipulate the situation, tape you, whether you knew or not, and then use it to lord over you. He never paid her the money he should have paid her, just like little Kim, you know. Um, what's his name? How I forget his name. It's not here anymore. The one she was dating, the big guy. He was beating the crap out of her, but P. Diddy was sleeping with her. She was supposed to be one of his artists, and when she went to prison, he had like he didn't know her. Yeah, Jaguar, I think she tells the truth for the most part, but like I say, there's some things going on with Jaguar that's not kosher. And my thing is, for Jaguar to have been in the industry the way she was, she hadn't told her dirt. That's like if you were there to know some of all this stuff, then what were you doing? And why were you there? Yeah, Martin, I have to agree with you on that. You don't have to, Lovecraft. I like to think that we can have open dialogue over here, whether we agree with each other or not. We can agree to disagree. That's the thing about being able to conversate and being able to really be able to have a conversation with somebody and really talk. You have to be able to listen to what they're saying and they listen to you, and you all can share what your thoughts and opinions are, but you don't have to agree. I mean, you don't have to agree with my opinions whatsoever. It's okay. We can agree to disagree. Okay. Honestly, Peaches and Cream, the very first day, if I was okay, I told y'all I used to have me a catering business, right? So let's just say that he hired me to be his chef in the kitchen. The very first day that I had to take food to naked people, and he was cussing me out and treating me bad, and I'm watching, and I witnessed him beating the snot out of Cassie, that would have been my first and last day. And I would have reported it. Now, whether anybody would have done anything about it, I don't know. But that would have been my first and last day. Okay, Felicia, I have to watch Jaguar in bits and pieces, so I didn't hear that. But thank you for sharing that with me. I'm Peaches and Cream. I'm not that type of person. When I see injustice, I'm gonna tell it. I couldn't live with myself if I knew or I saw that man beating. I don't care what woman it was, beating a woman like the way he did her down that hallway. He was so crazed that he was down the hallway butt naked with a towel wrapped around himself, beating the snot out of her. And that was in the hallway, so you can imagine what happened in the room behind closed doors. I mean, I'm just, mm-mm. I've always been that person that probably stuck her neck out in situations that she shouldn't have, and told stuff that she shouldn't have told, and reported people when I shouldn't, you know, especially when it's physical violence. And see, but I couldn't have worked in a household where this man is running around. I come to bring you food and you got to be butt naked. I don't want to see my boss like that. I don't want you or the people that visit you making sexual innuendos to me while I'm trying to do my job. If you're hired to be the maid, the housekeeper, the chef, I shouldn't have to be expected to sleep with your guests simply because I have a job there. Hi, little mama. Oh, yeah, I was trying to do StreamYard tonight because that way I wanted people to be able to come up. But for some reason, it wasn't letting people be able to type in the chat. So I don't know. I'm going to have to try it again. Yeah, yeah, Sandy. Because all that stuff with her and that guy that she says was her husband, that stuff was crazy. And the situation with her son and her ex-husband. No, I mean, who he sleeps with was his business. But the way he treated his staff was pretty shitty. He beat up one of the chefs. That's why she quit. Another chef said that the men who were coming to the house for the freak offs was trying to sleep with her, and did he wanted her to sleep with the man. I mean, that's not part of the job. If I'm the maid and I'm cleaning up the room, I shouldn't have to worry about somebody jumping on me to maybe have sex with me while I'm trying to clean up. I mean, crazy stuff like that. I'm gonna try it again, Sandy. I'm gonna try it tomorrow. I don't know. Paulie was the only one that was able to comment tonight, and I was on there for about, I don't know, 30, 40 minutes. I'm not there to make a judgment call on your sex life. You hired me to do a job. I need to do my job. You know what I'm saying? But that's any job. If I was When I was in corporate America, if I went to work early one day and found out that the boss was sleeping with one of the young girls in the department, and that was something that she didn't want to do, but he had been sexually harassing her, I would have a problem with that. I had a boss that was sexually harassing me till I finally quit because I couldn't get anybody to assist me. I couldn't get the union to back me up. I couldn't get my coworkers to go in and say they saw it, even though everybody could say it to me. So I quit, but I did report him. Yeah, he's been doing it for about 30 years, Lovecraft. I don't know. That could have been because I was trying to do it through StreamYard. But I did go on the community page and say I'm live. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with it tonight. Because it would say like 19 people was there, but the only person I could see say something was Paulie. You know, and people don't understand how it is when somebody's doing that to you because, and I was working at the post office. I was about, I was in my 30s because I had just had my son, so I was like 31. And I was very happy about getting the job because at that time it paid $10 an hour, and here minimum wage was like six or something dollars. So I was making enough to be able to take care of me and my son because I was a single parent. And this guy, he was married, had a girlfriend at the post office, and was married. And he would just, I mean, he would literally stand behind equipment and watch me work. He would come stand next to me and grab his crouch and say stuff to me while I'm working. He never wanted to let me take time off. There was another guy that was there who was a mail handler, and me and him started dating. Oh my gosh, when I did that, he really hated it. He didn't want me to have time off. He would just talk to me so nasty. He was just a pervert. I mean, it was extreme. It got to the point that it was so stressful to come to work that I would have nosebleeds on the way to work because I'm stressed out because I had to be there for 8 hours with him, but normally 10 because they would make us work 2 hours overtime. All right, Janelle, have a good night. Have a good service tomorrow. He was disgusting, Sandy. He was. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it because I never worked at a place where I had something like that happen. And then to not have anybody want to back me up was even worse. That's what I'm saying, Martina. Hi, Annette. Oh, it was scary. They know that would not be for me. Yeah, Orlando Brown. Oh, there's a lot of stuff that happened at the post office. You know, this is. I think this is another one of my questions. Why do you think that we are so obsessed with sex? Because this situation here is centered all around power and sex. Why are we so obsessed? Because what you'll find is most people with power, there's some sexual component with it. Look at Bill Gates. His wife left him after all those years because he was hanging out with Epstein on the plane and on the island sleeping with young girls. I think that Diddy's going to be the poster child for this whole thing, but other people are jumping off the ship now because, see, the thing is, we have no clue of what's on those tapes. And I'm thinking it's just like the normal, I'm going to have sex with somebody. It's a lot of debauchery and everything else going on. So there are people who are leaving their jobs now before it even gets out about them. So I think there's a lot of people right now trying to cover their butt in whatever position they have. I think they do. I think that rich people, when you have money and you buy everything that you ever wanted, then you start buying stuff that you thought you never wanted. Yeah, we really are, Lovecraft. Yeah, little mama. I'm sorry. Um, my sister sent me a list. I was really surprised. Okay, so we have people who don't have as much money as those people do who are doing some of the same things. So it's not necessarily about the money. It could be your neighbors having sex parties. We have a big problem here in Colombia with sex trafficking because that keeps coming up in this little story, and that's because South Carolina is one of those places where the North and the South can meet, and it's a good drop off point, and it's a good place to go west. So we have where a lot of people bring in drugs to go north and go west, and people to go north and go west. And sex trafficking is big. A lot of the bigger drug organizations are going more towards sex trafficking than drugs because you can only sell, you know, a drug one time, meaning that you can only sell one pack of crack or cocaine one time. You can sell a female as many times as she's able to continue to work. And so that is the sad thing because young girls, because we don't educate young girls. We just had a conversation about what our mothers told us. I didn't have a daughter, I had a son. But every young girl that I encountered, whether it was me being a Sunday school teacher, a youth pastor, babysitting, working for the Boys and Girls Club, tutoring, I always incorporate conversations about being careful, being on the internet, talking to guys older than you, or trusting people your age, because a lot of times they will have someone their age introduce them to somebody, just look like with Epstein. He used the young girls that he was already sleeping with and paying to bring other girls. Yeah, Annette, I won't watch that. Mm-mm. Sandy, it's very scary because it happens. Sex trafficking is happening in every country, every continent, every city. You would think, like, somebody might think the Midwest here, oh, there can't be any sex trafficking there. Yeah, it is. Up north, down south, Midwest, all the way west, going towards the borders in other countries. And it's really bad in other countries. When I was in the Philippines, we went out to party, and they would have children the age of 7, 6, 8 years old out trying to sell gum to service members, to military members at midnight, at 1 o'clock in the morning. Now you got a whole bunch of drunk military people hanging out downtown, and you got these young children out here selling gum. How many of them you think probably got misused and abused out there doing that? They can sex traffic right there where you're at, Sandy. And that was my main thing, because I like to think that, let me say this. Hi, Faith and Nova. I started this channel a long time ago, and I was just playing around during COVID. I just wanted to see if I could do it. And then I seen McNasty, and I used it to say stuff about her. And that's how I end up getting a lot of you guys. Thank you, Jacquelinetta. Yep. And that's how I got a lot of you all starting last September. Actually, this is our anniversary month. You know what? I hadn't thought about that, Lovecraft. But how would I do it where everybody else could hear the conversation and not just me, another person? Um, oh, so I got a lot of you all because I talked about McNasty. But I'm a multifaceted person. I don't want my channel to be just about her, because Lord knows she ain't doing nothing over there right now. She's in a whole predicament that she put herself in. Okay. Maybe I'll mess with that tomorrow too while I'm trying to get StreamYard together. So this is more along the lines of what I would like for my channel to be, where we can talk about topics on anything that YouTube will let us, and that we can have, share our opinions and viewpoints and be able to handle it in a mature way, and we can all hear how everybody else think. I like stuff like that. I know I will lose people because there are some people that just want to come here to hear about McNasty, and when I don't do her, they unsubscribe, and I'm okay with that. I'm willing to lose people behind that because, yeah, I have more in me and about me than just talking about her. And see, something like that. Who thinks about their child being trafficked? I was very hard on my son coming up when it came to the internet. He was not allowed to have a computer in his room. We had an I guess it wasn't an office area, but we had an area, and it was like between it was in literally in the dining room between the kitchen and going to the back of the house. So when you was on the computer, anybody that came by could see what you was doing. And I did that on purpose because first of all, I didn't want him locked up in his room on the computer doing who knows what. And I wanted to be able to monitor whether he was talking to what websites he was on and who he was talking to. See, that's what I was saying, Faith and Nova. They use their friends to do that. We just have to be more proactive with our children. I mean, it's like we just let them raise themselves and don't teach them anything. It's like I don't know, we just seem to think that they're little adults and they know everything and they know how to manage situations. They do not. They don't. And my thing is, if you're a parent and your child is locked in their room all the time, they don't have friends to come over, they don't want to visit friends, they don't talk about they got anybody to hang out with at school. All they do is be on that computer or on that phone, on chat lines and stuff like that. You need to sit down and find out what's going on with your child. It is not normal for a preteen or a young adult in high school not to be social. Because I guarantee you this, just like I'm talking to you through this internet, there's somebody that will talk to them through the internet. Okay, I'll write that down, Lovecraft. And if anybody else has any other ideas, throw them out there tonight, and I'll write them down. You can't. Just like my parents always wanted to know who my friends were. As a parent or a guardian, and even if it's not your child, it may be your sister's child, your brother's child, or whatever. If you notice something going on with them, you talk to them. You're a family member. Try to find out what's going on. Because there are so many traps out here in the world for our children. And if they are lacking something from home, such as love and attention and affection and support and respect, they're going to look for it someplace else. And look how many broken homes we have. Thank you, Tashana. I do too. Let me tell you, and this is any person who's lacking something major in their life, such as love, respect, support, all those things that we need to make us feel whole and one, also, those things that we need, even if you're secure within yourself, if you don't have a good support group, even if it's the people online that you can share with, you will find it someplace else. And it may not be in the right places. Um, is that a topic you want to talk about, Lovecraft? My son knows that no matter how much I'll say, you know what, you use my house to be a hotel and stuff like that, he knows that he can always come back here. Matter of fact, I'm his biggest cheerleader. He knows that. You know, I'd like to think, and he hasn't told me any different, he's 30, that we have a good relationship. Do we fall in and out sometimes? Yeah. He don't like what I might say, and I may not like what he might say, but ultimately, we need each other in our lives. I don't ever want to have where me and my son are not able to communicate. You know, he's my seed. And there's a part of him that's going to be in me for the rest of my life. Part of his DNA is going, when you have a child, part of their DNA is with you for the rest of your life. You are genetically connected to that child, whether you want to or not. Well, yes. I've been wanting topics and nobody has said anything. So thank you. So I got to write it down because once the live is over, all the comments are gone. Well, Sandy, that's not healthy. They need to be able to fly away from the nest so that you can know that they can take care of themselves. You know what? I've heard about that app quite a bit, Felicia. I thought it was a kids app. I need to check and see if my granddaughter's on that app. That'll be great, Chris. If anybody wants to send me any topics for in the future, please send it to and we can put them on the list. Oh, he will take care of himself quite well. You guys are teaching him how to take care of himself now. Yeah. Oh, okay. Because I wonder what happened to him, Tashana. I was like, what happened to all the comments? You can send it. That's why I put the email in, email address in there. Send it to that. That's fine. And I'll just, yeah, I'm gonna check and see if my granddaughter's on that. She's 11 going on 12. Somehow it seems like I've heard that before, but I don't know if it's from her or me listening to something on TV. Okay. My last topic for the night. Is it okay to blame trauma for the way you act and the choices you've made in your life? Do you think we unconsciously, through our unresolved trauma, make choices that are not good for us because of that? Okay, let me ask you this. Do you think your unresolved trauma will lead you into a positive, productive life, or one where you make a lot of bad choices and your life can be on a negative note? Hi, Saved by Grace. So, at what age do you think people should start dealing with childhood trauma? At what age do you think people might be mature enough to deal with it? But Martin, not everybody has a relationship with Christ. Not everybody believes in Christ. That's what I think too, Sandy. Do you think it's easier to work through the trauma or totally ignore it and keep on living your life? Yeah, Faith and Nova, that would have been good, but we don't. Thank you for sharing, Polly. You know, a lot of people don't believe in counseling. A lot of people don't believe in medication to take for issues that they're dealing with. As a counselor, we are required to have a therapist, which I think is a good idea. And then you have other counselors you can bounce stuff off of. But I have my own therapist because I have to be in a good mental state to be able to listen to other people and help guide them, because I'm not telling them what to do. It's their life. I'm just helping to guide you in making a better choice for your life and deal with the things that come up. I'm just a support for you. Oh, Polly, I'm so sorry to hear that. You know, I'm supposed to, as a counselor, be able to work with every person and the things they do. But I know for me, I have a bias when it comes to people who abuse children, people who are pedophiles, and things like that. I do. I think the biggest thing is people don't really know all the things that counseling can do for them, especially like in African American culture. It is not Counseling is not that thing that you go around telling people you're doing. It's still kind of poo-pooed on. to say that you're going to counseling. It's getting better, but we don't really do that. We just say that person's special, or you know how they are. That's just how they are. We don't really push and suggest for them to go to counseling. Oh my gosh, Holly. Mhm. It is Faith and Nova. Well, Polly, I'm glad that you were able to get the assistance, and he was an ass, and I'm glad you turned out to be the man that you are. We love you over here. Oh my gosh, is that Sandy? You know, peaches and cream, that's easy to say if you haven't gone through some of the things that other people have gone through. Um, Nobody intentionally let other people stop them. It is the things you go through that stops you because you're not at a healed place. When you're not healed, it's hard to really fulfill your dreams and goals, you know. Martina, you would be so surprised how abusive people could be. Well, you probably wouldn't feel good if you treated him the way he treated you because that's not the person you are. You know, the human spirit is so strong. I am always surprised how people manage to make it through the things they make it through and still have the ability to love and have empathy and compassion, even for the person that treated them bad. Um, that's something that always has fascinated me about our ability to survive. You know, and I'm sure it's because of the field that I'm in or that I was working full time at one time. Um, I was not running into the healthy people, but I don't believe there's any healthy people. Everybody's dealing with something, whether they believe it or not or understand it. I have yet to meet a person that had a perfect childhood. There's always something, and what may bother me may not bother you. What affects me may not affect you the same way. So we can never say that what somebody else went through, I wouldn't have did it that way, or I might not have, reacted that way because we don't know how we're going to react until we're in it. Ooh, the chat is moving kind of fast tonight. Hmm. Thank you, Tashana Boo Boo. It is Faith and Nova. And see, that's the thing. If you never deal with, let's say you had, unfortunately, a childhood like Polly. Of course, he's angry as a man. Look at how he was treated as a child. And if that's never dealt with, then here he is, a man with a family, and all that's in there. So then he has to deal with trying to take care of a family. Maybe he don't make enough money. Maybe he's having issues in his marriage. Now we got children. All these things build up. Maybe he gets fired from his job. The car breaks down. All these things build and build and build and build till we cannot handle them anymore. You know, it's you have to be able to deal with the things that come up in your life because there's going to be something else that comes up. So if you don't ever learn how to deal with your past, how are you going to deal with your present and your future? Oh, peaches, that don't work. Walking away and being dismissive. Mm-mm. Hey, still I rise. That's good. Saved by grace. Hey, peaches and cream. You know, walking away works for a while, but when you walk away, you still take the effects of whatever you're walking away from with you. And the one person that we can never run from is ourselves because no matter where we go, we're there. I used to think it would be easy to leave all my childhood trauma back at home. When I was in the military, the one thing I did was stay overseas a lot because I didn't like coming to South Carolina because that was going to drum up all those childhood issues. Until I realized that wherever I went, they were still there because they were inside of me. And when I had my son, that was the pivotal point in my life that I knew for me to be able to be a good parent, I had to work on myself. I had to get me together mentally and emotionally, or I was going to be a real crappy parent. And my son didn't have anybody but me. So I knew I had to do something at that point. Yeah, I thought about you about that, Polly. I'm glad you did. I thought about when I was watching one of your videos and you were talking about that. I was wondering how you were dealing with it. I'm glad that you were able to figure it out and it didn't stress you to a point that, you kind of closed up. Um, I think we do need apologies sometimes. And I think we do need closures to situations. I think we do. I think that we may think that that's over, but it may be deep inside you and it just hasn't come up. And when things come up, they don't come up always the way we think they are. And see how we don't realize how somebody else can be going through something at the same time until we have a conversation with them. I'm glad that you all were able to be a support for each other. And that's for Pauline. You do. Tashana, I went through the same thing. I wanted the divorce, so I got, we got the divorce. But I took like 3 years because I knew there was no way I could be with a person for 18 years and then it's over and I just move on to another relationship. I needed to get myself together emotionally and mentally. And then I wanted to assess that relationship that I was in for 18 years because it would be easy for me to blame him for everything, but I had to be able to be mature enough to look at what part did I play. Because it takes two to make a marriage, it takes two to break it up. So even though the things he was doing was more overt where everybody could see it, there were things that I was doing that was not like that. And it would have been very easy for me to sit and say, oh, all of it was his fault. No, I played a role in that too. So I had to be mature enough to look at all that, deal with it, and then decide what type of relationship that I want in the future and how was I going to deal with some of the things that came up like in the past that I didn't deal with well. Yeah, everybody go over and subscribe to Paulie's channel and to Shauna's channel. Her and Charlie are so funny and they go to a lot of different places that you get to see. And see, that's why you need to talk about them. How can you resolve something that you yourself won't even talk about? Oh, thank you, Saved by Grace. They are very supportive. They help me. They're my therapy a lot of times. They just don't know it. Okay, well, Tashana, look at it like this. I was married for 18 years. My ex messed around from the day before we got married all the way till we got divorced. He says it wasn't all the time. I said it was enough. I would say that out of 18 years, he probably messed around 14 of them. And when I say that I played a part because instead of me getting out of the marriage sooner, I stayed in it because my pastor kept saying that I didn't marry the man, I married the God in the man, and that we needed to try to work it out and all these things. I pretty much stayed in my marriage because of the church I was in. And instead of me being honest and saying that we were not good together, he was not ready, I definitely wasn't ready for that type of marriage. I became bitter and angry. And even at times when he might have been trying to act right, I was so angry and bitter that I treated him like shit, pretty much. I did. And so I didn't know how to deal with that type of marriage. He didn't know how to deal with stress. That was part of the reason why he acted out like that. It was just a whole lot. It never is just one person. It's easy. See, it would be easy for me to say that he was the reason why we're not married because he was doing stuff that everybody could see. He was having an affair. But people couldn't see how I was at home. So that's why I say that. Thank you, Paulie. That is so true. But Chris, you're talking to you about you. So who's there to lead you in a or guide you in a way that is to help you get out of what you're in. You know what I'm saying? We can talk to ourselves and make ourselves believe a whole lot of stuff that ain't true. Thank you, Lovecraft. Oh, we got 46 thumbs up and only 35 people in here. That's good. Well, as time goes on, you can explain a little bit as we go. I'm trying to catch up on what you guys said. And see, that's what I was saying, Sandy. I became a person that I didn't even know. Okay. My ex messing around had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with him and how he handled stress. When he became stressful, he wasn't a drinker, he wasn't a smoker, so his thing was sex. But it did not help our marriage whatsoever. And he was not a talker. So when things were going on, I knew things were going on with him, but he was not a person to talk about his feelings and what was going on. So he kept all that stuff inside him, and his way of getting it out was to go have sex with somebody, and for me, that was an issue because I was the wife. So it made me a very bitter, angry woman. I gained a lot of the majority. I'm gonna say 90% of the weight that I have on me was from just strictly from stress. I became sick all the time. I was never a sickly person. I got sick. I had toothaches. I had sinus problems. I mean, I was literally sick every month. It was crazy because I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And it was simply stress. Stress. It was literally killing me. And I told him that. I was like, this marriage is literally killing me. I have got to get out of it. Hmm. Um, and Chris, he didn't get angry either. He was just very distant, and then he would be out having affairs. But I'm your wife. How could you not talk to me? I'm supposed to be your mate. So if there's something going on, I would like to think that you trust me enough to be able to discuss that with me. But if you can't, then that's an issue for me too. And Felicia, that's great. But when you're in a marriage, you still have to be able to communicate to your mate. And Lovecraft, you are absolutely right. Um, I mean, me and him were friends before we got married, and we're still friends now. He married the last woman that he cheated with, and we're friends now. We talk occasionally about the children because he had two boys and I had one, and I consider them still my children. So we talk about things like that. The new wife seems to think that I want him back. I told him I am the last woman she ever has to worry about wanting you. If we were the last two people on this earth, we would just be the last two people here. That would be it. But I'm not angry at him anymore. I'm not bitter. I've discussed it with him about how I feel. I've apologized for my part. He was very angry at me in the beginning because I wanted a divorce. He thought that I would always be there. But he has been able to, and recently, in the last few years, tell me that how much he appreciated all the things I brought to the marriage, what he's learned from me, and how it's made him the man he is today. So, I mean, it is what it is. I had to thank him because I wouldn't be the woman I am today had I not married him. No, Mark, no, they do not. No, he wasn't like that. I mean, he was actually a decent guy. It's just from his childhood, he hadn't worked on any of those issues, and there was a lot dealing with his mother. Um, there was just a lot that he hadn't dealt with, and he just wasn't really ready to get married. He shouldn't have. We should have never married each other. That's pretty much it. We should. We. I don't know if we had married each other now, it would have been different, but we shouldn't have married each other then. But you know, I learned a lot. I was able to learn my strengths and my weaknesses. I completed school because I never probably would have done that had I not been so mad about my marriage that I was trying to find positive things to do versus sitting around being angry. I started a lot of different business. A lot of the things that I did that I tell you guys about what I did, they started because of my crappy marriage. So, there's always a silver lining somewhere in the mist. Polly, a lot of times it don't. It's hard to trust somebody after they cheat. That's true, peaches and cream. There is nothing you can do. And Faith and Nova, that was a big thing for me because at first I was sitting around being this angry woman. I'm gonna tell you guys when it changed. I worked at home at the time for Blue Cross and Blue Shield. I was making all kinds of money. I had bought an apartment building. We had the house. The apartment building paid the mortgage for the house. I was making really, really good money. So, I mean, there was nothing that we wanted for that we couldn't afford to buy. It's ironic that there was nothing that we needed materialistically, but we couldn't get it together as a marriage. So one day, I want to say it was like a Saturday or something, and he had done something. I think this story is so long, I had to tell y'all in bits and pieces. But one of the things my ex would do was that when things got too stressful for him, he would just disappear. He might go to work on a Tuesday. I may not see him again till Sunday. He might leave on a Sunday. A couple of times, I didn't see him for a whole year. Literally, a whole year. So one Saturday, I was in my bedroom and I was just crying and crying, and I'm crying out to the Lord, and I'm just like, why am I in this marriage? Why is this man and like this? How come he doesn't love me enough for this marriage to work? And I felt like in my spirit, I heard God say, what are you doing? You've never cried out that much for me. And here you are crying out that much for a man. And instantly, I thought about that because I called myself a Christian. And here I was, felt like I was about to die because this marriage wasn't working. I got myself up that day. I washed my face. And that's when I decided that instead of sitting around crying about this man, I was going to do better about myself. And that's when I started working on all the goals and things that I had always wanted to do. So I have to say, if I hadn't been in that crappy marriage, I might not have got to where I'm at now. Oh, yes, peaches and cream. My ex could lie. That thing could lie so much, it was ridiculous. Where did he say he was? Well, um, one time he said he left and moved to North Carolina. Another time he said he was back around the town that he was raised in. I don't know. I don't really know where he was. He lied a lot. So I don't know. One time he stole my vehicle, left me. I could tell y'all some stories. I had I told y'all I had my own cleaning business. So I had a client that literally gave me a van because my ex wrecked our car. We had one car at the time because he wrecked his car. So we had my car, he wrecked it, so then we had no cars. So I was working for the school district. I had to resign because I didn't have a way to work, and the school was really far from where we lived. And so I was having to give up literally my cleaning business because I couldn't get to my um, people. So one of my clients called me up one day and she was like, "Hey Deborah, what you doing?" And I was like sitting around the house. She's like, "Can me and my daughter come by?" And I was like, "Yeah." They drove up. Her daughter gave me a Honda van. She said they were going to sell it, and she had called her mom. It's like, "You know anybody that needs a vehicle?" And they were going to sell it, and her mom was like, told her about me, and they decided to just give it to me. Now that was a blessing because I was literally catching the bus, and I was not with catching the bus, but I did it. So I was able to keep my business. I had resigned from the school, so I picked up more cleaning jobs. Well, my ex didn't like to stay at his jobs. He would stay there for 90 days, sometimes a year. So I had told him, I was like, "You're not working. All we got is the cleaning business right now. So I need you, for us to get more business, I need you to help me by cleaning up some of the places." And I don't know what he was doing when I wasn't there, but I had picked up a new client. It was one of the attorney general here. They were millionaires, so they were paying me very good money. But I didn't want to lose my other clients either. So he was helping me. I had my niece working. He was helping. So he dropped me off one day. Matter of fact, it was the very first day that I was working for this family. I was supposed to be a house manager. I took care of the kids. I ran errands. I managed the house, and I took care of the kids. Very first day, he drops me off, and he said, "Are you hungry?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I could eat something." So he's like, "I'll go to Bojangles and get you a breakfast biscuit." He did that, brought it back. Then he was going to clean another client's home. That afternoon when I got off, I'm sitting on the people porch. I'm waiting. He don't show up. I'm calling, no answer. I'm calling, no answer. So I get this pit in my stomach of how I felt when I knew that I called it going on the lam. So I literally had to call another member of my church. for her and her husband to come pick me up. And I was so embarrassed because I was sitting on these people's porch, and it's my very first day working with them, that I left and walked and went to the CVS for them to pick me up. And he was just gone. So I tried to report my van as being stolen. The police said I couldn't do that because he was my husband. So technically it wasn't stolen. He says that he left it in a grocery store parking lot, but that's a lie because at some point the grocery store would have had the car towed, and it was, the tags and everything was in my name. He took my van to North Carolina, and he was gone a whole year. He was living with some woman that she said he had gotten pregnant at another time when he was on the lam, but apparently it didn't work out. And so I don't know what he did for a year in North Carolina. But yeah, and that's just one of the stories. I could be a Lifetime movie. Why did it make you cry, Tashana? Oh, she laughed about me getting the car or him taking the car? He is ex-Army. Yeah, he is Peaches and Cream. Girl, Martina, that whole time was crazy. I didn't even know who I was. You know, Vanessa can laugh at whatever she wants about my life. If she feels the need to come over here and take something that we discuss and try to make a joke out of it, she's more than welcome to do that. Because I can look at my life and say, I might have went through that, but I'm not there now. Life has gone on. I'm okay. And that just jump started me and propelled me into another place that was better. In the midst of all that, I lost my apartment building, my house. Oh my gosh. I can tell you, I got evicted 3 times in 1 year from all that crap going on. But here I am. I went through a season of lack, but I had to learn from my mistakes and get to a place that I could be able to build myself back up to be able to do what I needed to do. And I did that. So now I have more property, getting ready to buy another one, and I don't have all that hanging over my head. I mean, life is what it is. You could not have told me when I was 18 that I would have gotten into a shitty marriage. But then you also couldn't have told me that at 62, I would be a woman that has accomplished all the things she's accomplished and be mentally as strong as she is now. So, you take the good with the bad. Life is life. It just be lifing. Because you know what? Because I was forgiven for all the things I did in my life, and I forgave him. And I understood that the decisions and choices he made were bad because he had not worked through his trauma. And I didn't hate him. You know, I spent 18 years with this person. Now, would I be married to him? Nah. Will we be best buddies? Probably not. But we'll be a friend that you talk to occasionally, and we both have a mutual interest, which is the children. I mean, I'm just that person. I don't have that. I don't want to have that in me anymore where I carry this anger and bitterness and stuff towards people who did something wrong. I have just learned how to deal with it and move on because it doesn't do anything but hurt me. And I have met people like that, men and women, who despise their exes, who were angry about them doing the things they did. And it has done nothing for them but made them bitter and angry. And the other person has moved on and don't care nothing about you being bitter and angry. Yeah, you know. Yeah, Sandy, we're still friends. Hmm. Well, that's very good, Tashana. I get zero. Yeah, we're still friends. I'm just not that person anymore. I don't want to go my whole life being mad at him. I look at it like this. He had a lot of trauma. He was a hurt person who hadn't dealt with it. He dealt with it the way he knew how to deal with it. And if he doesn't grow from that, that's on him. But I'm just not going to be with you if you don't want to grow. It'll be like somebody getting with our buddy over there. Because she hasn't grown, she will never have a healthy relationship with anybody. And her relationships will always end in some type of crappy way because she has not worked on herself. No matter how, look at Miss Charlene, as nice as she is, at some point, she's going to be tired of her. And that's just what it is. If you don't grow and do better about who you are, once you know that you need to do better, you'll end up by yourself. Because my ex right now is having issues in this marriage. And it's not like I told him straight up. First of all, I don't give a shit about your new marriage. I don't want to hear about that. And secondly, what is the key denominator here? You've had three wives. We are three different women, three different ages when you married us. And the only common denominator between the three of us is you. So who do you think has the issue here? The three women or you? And if you choose to never grow up and deal with it, that is your choice. But you will be by yourself. You know, people get to make choices. I choose to move on with my life and be a healthy, loving woman without emotional issues because I'm mad about this man that I was with that I'm not even attached to anymore, really. And it's not fair to another man that I meet. Why should I still carry all that baggage into a new relationship and they know nothing about it, don't know that man, and they're a totally different person? They're orange, but they're like shells. So you're getting the light and the dark. That's probably what you're seeing. They're both orange. Child, Felicia, if you listen to that crazy woman, and yes, it's all in her mind that she's perfect and everybody else is jacked up. Yes, it could have peaches and cream. You know what? And I had to realize that I couldn't save him, and it was killing me. I mean, literally killing me. And I used to tell him I thought that him and his demons was trying to just knock me off. I mean, I used to say to him, you and your demons are trying to kill me. And it was so amazing to me that when I finally said, I am so through with this, I'm getting off this merry-go-round, he was literally mad. He was mad because I wanted a divorce. I was just shocked. I was like, you know what? You crazy as hell. Crazy. And I know I've had women look at me and be like, how did you deal with that? How are you at a point now where it doesn't matter? I was like, because you know what? Life is short. Life is short. And all I know is that this is the one time I get to go around because I don't believe in reincarnation. And this is the only body that I'm going to have to go around in it. So I need to get my body together and get my mind together and get my, my emotions together so I can move on and have a happy life. We can't stay stuck. You don't want to stay stuck, especially in a crappy place. Why? If I had stayed stuck there, oh my gosh, I would have been a crappy mom to my son. I would be a crappy grandmother now. I would not have achieved all the things I did. I would just be a bitter, stuck woman, hoping that my anger was going to do something to him, which it would not have. So, yeah, I like Charles Stanley. He was like a very easygoing man that had a message, but it wasn't like right in your face. I just like the way he preached. Yes, I'm very much Faith and Nova at a place where I don't like no drama in my life. If you're a drama filled person, you can't be here with me as my friend. Um, I don't like negativity like that in my life. I'm pretty, what you see here is what you get. I'm pretty easygoing. You know, I mean, I get upset every now and then, but nothing like I used to. Oh, we can't save or change nobody. We can only change ourselves. And I don't know what has happened to men and women relationships. They definitely seem reverse, where the women are taking care of the men aren't really being men. The women are accepting more crap than they should just so they can have somebody in their life. I understand that people want a significant other. I understand that people don't like being lonely and by themselves. But what I also understand is I would much rather feel lonely than be in a situation that is detrimental to me. You know, women stay in relationships and men stay in relationships where they're being abused mentally, physically, emotionally, verbally. Their children are being abused. Now that's one thing I would not have tolerated. Um, if he had been crappy to my son or to his kids, and I have to give him credit. He was a good dad when it came to supporting the children. He just wasn't a good husband or a good person, good worker. He never keep a job good. Apparently, he still don't, from what I hear. Thank you, Felicia. I like me too. I have grown a lot. If you had met me in my 20s, you probably wouldn't have liked me. I have grown a lot. I have matured over the years and learned how to deal with me. That I am peaches and cream. I don't like liars. I don't like being false. I don't like people who manipulate. That's what pissed me off about McNasty so much. It was like all that stuff she was doing for a couple of dollars. When if she had used her intellect She could have made more money than she was making trying to manipulate it out of people. I'm above board. What I have found in this virtual world that we're in and these YouTube streets, there are a lot of liars, a lot of fakers, a lot of people that make you think one thing. Like, I had no idea that people would literally rent cars and houses and clothes and stuff to make people believe that they are real influencers on YouTube. Crazy to me. I am what I am. This is what you get. I have been trying to fix myself up a little bit more when I come on here, but I mean, this is it. This is who I am every day. My son would tell you, I'm like this every day. He tells me I'm brutally honest. He's like, Mom, sometimes you don't realize you hurt people's feelings with the things you say. I was like, well, they always know where I stand. Faith and Nova, you know what? That is so true. I hadn't even thought about that. The land of make-believe. Oh, I like that, Lovecraft. You know, I'm not going to pretend like I'm somebody else just to get you guys to give me views so I can make money. And life is not perfect. It's not. And you know, and when I see grown people, like I watch a lot of other people, and I watch them for different reasons. People be like, "How you watch them?" Like I watch one influencer, not because she's an influencer. I am mesmerized with the fact that she's gotten so much done to her body, and I believe she has body dysmorphia because you don't love you if you got to get your nose, your ears, your neck, your breasts, your butt, your stomach, your crouch. I mean, you got to get everything redone. You didn't like nothing that God created you to be. You didn't like nothing on your body. Hell, I'm sorry. Even if tomorrow I played the lottery, which I don't, but if I did and I won $10 million, I'm not spending it on lifting my boobs or my butt. I can tell you that. I don't have to have $500 perfume to feel good as a woman. I can go to Target and get me some body spray for $9.99 and feel just as wonderful and smell just as good as far as I'm concerned. You know, I don't have to have a mansion. Who am I trying to impress? And it's funny because this one lady I watched, she's a beautiful woman. She did not have to do all the things she did, but in her mind, she did. So, okay. But now you've made yourself into like this beautiful little Barbie doll person, and you can't keep a man. No more than a woman who did absolutely nothing to herself. Yes, I mean she has bottles and now some stuff she get free because you know once you get to a certain point, people will give you free stuff. So yeah, literally $500 or more. Hi, Willow. And they can't even see it. I mean, she deals with depression, that she's honest about. But the part that bothered me the most is that she has a daughter, and she's 18 now. I think she might be turning 19, or she's already 19. But you can tell that maybe she has some things going on with her, but she wants her to be a younger version of her, and her daughter doesn't want to. Her daughter doesn't want to wear the weave. She doesn't want to. She's always telling her, "You're so pretty," and you know these clothes and the makeup and all, and that's not her daughter. And it's like she can't see that her daughter does not want to be a younger version of her. Her daughter seems to be happy with who she is, just like she is. but it's like she can't see it. Oh my gosh. The one thing that just killed me, have y'all ever tried to get your arms? Have you ever got your underarms waxed? Put a one in the chat if you ever did that. I know this is a little bit off the topic. Yes, Sandy, it's like toddlers and tiaras. Has anybody ever gotten? Um, that hurt like the Dickens. Oh my gosh, I did not know that it hurt that bad. I went and I was like, I'm gonna try this. So I went, and I'm talking to the lady. Everything's going good because I had gotten a facial, and she was gonna do under my arms. I think she had arched my eyebrows, and she got this. When she first tried to pull it off, I was like, I literally came up off the table. I was like, oh my God, I cannot do this. That hurt so bad that I told her to leave the rest of the wax on, and I was just going to go home like that. And she was like, no, let me get it off. I will never do that again, ever, ever in my whole life. Yes, you can. I just thought I would try it because, everybody was talking. I can't even imagine a Brazilian. Oh my gosh. I don't even know how people do it. Who's who, Felicia? Yeah, you must have been bored, Chris. As you get older, the hairs thin out, which is a wonderful thing. But oh my gosh, I could not. So I'm watching this girl or this woman, and she's making her daughter, she was about 17 at that time, and she took her to go get her arms waxed. The girl was literally crying, and she was just like, "No, mom, I don't want to do this," and she was making her do it because that's a part of being beautiful. No, it's not. You can use some Nair and wipe it off, and it don't hurt like that. You can shave. But this woman, I mean, she is so, I don't know, there's some crazy ass people on YouTube because she has this thing about having any types of marks on her body, like her armpits. She wants her whole body to be one color, even her crouch. So she shaves all the hair off, will have them rip it off. And she does all this stuff so that it can all be like one color. It is just crazy. Some of the stuff she do is just crazy. Sandy doesn't have armpit hair. Oh, who's the lady I was talking about? Her name is Peyton Charles. First name is Peyton, but she has like three names. Peyton something Charles. Let me look it up. Peyton Marie Charles. Oh, I don't know why they would need to do. Well, I know nose hair, but yeah, I can't even. I can't even imagine a Brazilian. I just can't fathom doing that. No. Ooh, that just sounds like it would be no, no. Waxing ain't no joke. It is not. Yeah. They do that to guys. I guess guys could go and get their stuff waxed, but. Mm. Yeah, but this girl, she does. I mean, she does so many things, and I'm sure some of it she does for the channel. Because now I'm gonna tell you, she making some money, and this just goes to show where our culture is. She's making so much money that she just bought this big old house in Texas, which I know if houses are going for 400,000 to half a million here, I know in Texas her house easily was over a $500,000. It probably was 8 or 900,000. But she's making that type of money on YouTube now. Now I never had to shave my legs. Um, Now my underarms, yeah, and the other area if I'm going swimming. Otherwise, I don't worry about it. But now that I'm older, the hair thins out. So, but I know I won't be doing no waxing. I know that much. The most I'll do, and I need to go now, is let the lady do my eyebrows. But other than that, mm-mm. That is it. That is it. And who the hell invented that? Who sat around and said, "Hey, let's put hot wax on you and rip the hair out of your body and see how that feels"? If you have a hairy crack, girl, please. They have to accept it all as is, hairy crack and all. Well, yeah, there's a lot of things I think about like that. Like, who was the first person that thought of this stuff? Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. Like, I don't care for pantyhose. I don't know who invented those. I think they're stupid. But it's always stuff for women. Well, I don't know because she got some land with it, and it's supposed to be in a ritzy neighborhood. I don't know, but yeah. But like I say, I watch her because I'm just mesmerized with some of the stuff she does, and it's always interesting to me to see, to try to figure out why people do what they do. Oh, Tashana, you sound like my son. He doesn't understand why we have to wear clothes because it's the law. I don't necessarily think we all should walk around naked. And that's a good question. Would any of you live like in a nudist um, environment or a nudist neighborhood? You know, oh, I still know how to. If I happen to wear pantyhose, I still do that with the clear polish. So, Tashana, do you think that you and Charlie could live in a nudist neighborhood? I don't think I could do the nudist thing. I mean, I don't sleep with clothes on now because menopause stopped me from wearing pajamas. I don't even use a top sheet because menopause, I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm hot, I'm cold. But Sandy said no. I don't think I want to see everybody just hanging loose. I don't. Charlie would be in prison. I don't think I need to see my neighbors naked. You know, Well, you know what? I'd rather have the itchy coochie from cutting shaving my hair than the hot wax. I'm sorry. I mean, just think about it. If you work still, when you go to work on Monday, just think about if your workplace was a place where clothes were optional. Would you really want to see your coworkers come to work naked? You know what? Is that Chris saying that about the crabs? I know it is. Crab lives matter. I know that's Chris. I know it is. Chris, you already in the doghouse. I mean, can you imagine our world if everybody got to run around naked? No. Mm-mm. I mean, Tashana, look at when y'all are out driving and y'all stop at one of the truck stops. Do you want to see truckers get out their trucks naked? Mm, not so much. Not so much. Well, if we were naked, we wouldn't have to worry about folks dressing half naked. But there is, I mean, at most nudist colonies, clothes are optional. You can wear clothes if you want to. You cannot wear them. You can wear some clothes. You know, it's up to you. I don't like pajama, like long pajama pants, because I don't like to make my legs feel confined. I don't like the shorts because when you move around a lot, they're up your butt and all this other stuff. And night dresses wrap around your body. It's just a whole lot of stuff. So I just rather sleep naked. And seeing there's nobody here but Parker, yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. But most people that stay in nudist camps say you don't, they claim you don't think about it anymore. That men aren't looking at women like that because they're used to everybody being naked. That could be true. I don't know how long you have to live there before you get to that point, but yeah. I know that was Chris with that horrible joke or analogy. See, that's what I do. You sound like me, Martina. I have one at the foot of the bed so that if I have to get up in an emergency, I can just throw it on. I thought I was the only one that did that. Well, you know, since I work from home, most of the time I work in my pajama shirt, you know, whatever. I don't really dress. I literally have to get dressed to come on here to do this with you guys. Because most of the time, um, if my hair wasn't braided, I'd be looking crazy and half naked. That's my uniform for the day. How long have we been on here? Well, guys, it's 11:30. Oh, you paid the taxi in your underwear. I bet that was very interesting for them. You think so, Lovecraft? I had to think on that one. I don't know. I don't know if being naked would change that. Oh yeah, you can't cook certain things naked. You don't want to fry nothing. You don't want to cook no grits. There's certain things you don't cook naked. Well, guys, I went over all my topics tonight. You guys, please send me some at the email address. Do I need to put it in the chat again? And members, did you respond to the little video I made about the book? Thank you, Lovecraft. Did you guys watch the video about me saying that I ordered the book by Kim Porter, P. Diddy's baby mama? I know, Tashana, it's always over 2 hours. It's just like time just flies. Um, if you guys want, we can discuss it. Bye, Martina. Thank you, Sandy and Chris. I truly appreciate you guys because you are on a totally different time schedule than us, and yet you guys stay in the chat the whole time. Thanks, Lovecraft. And Polly, I don't know if you're still here. Are you gone? But thank you. Thank you, everybody that was here tonight. And I'll look and see what members said about the book. I should get it tomorrow. So I'm going to spend my evening watching that. I don't know if Paulie's still here. Can you put his, what is his channel? I think it's Life with Paulie. Your prince went to bed early. You ain't heard him barking. I don't know where he at. I think it's Life with Paulie, but he's gone. Does anybody else have their own channel? This is an opportunity for us to share. All right. If not, then thank you, monitors. You got Lovecraft. You and Martin have done a wonderful job tonight. And I will talk to members if they say yes about the book or whoever wants to go over it. And I didn't do 10 for 10 tonight. All right. Well, Tuesday, 10 for 10 for 10. I forgot tonight. Let me see if I went back and see who would be number 10. Uh-oh. Oh, this is not going to let me go up. Thank you, Lovecraft. Good night, Willow. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful Sunday.